Today we bring you a story that is nothing short of historic. A former Prime Minister sentenced to death. Street protests roaring back to life. A country caught in a storm of justice, politics and emotion. Let us unpack what's happening in Bangladesh and how it got to this point. Yesterday, November 17, 2025, the International Crimes Tribunal 1 in Dhaka delivered one of the most consequential verdicts in the nation's history. The tribunal ordered the execution of Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh's longest-serving Prime Minister, and Asaduzzah Khan Kamal, her former Home Minister. They were found guilty of genocide and crimes against humanity linked to the brutal suppression of students' protests in mid-2024. The tribunal also sentenced former Inspector General of Police Chaudhry Abdullah Al Mamun to 5 years in prison. He turned state witness, admitted his role and testified against the former leaders. The three-judge tribunal delivered a massive 453-page verdict broadcasted live on national television, a dramatic public reckoning for a political era.
For all these three counts, we have decided to inflict her with only one sentence, that is sentence of death.
So how did a government go from controlling the streets to being overthrown, tried and now sentenced? To understand the chain of events, we need to go back to July 2024 when a single issue ignited a national uprising. It started with jobs, a controversial quota system which reserves 56% of government jobs for certain groups, including relatives of Liberation War veterans, had been reinstated by the High Court. Students said that this was not fair. They wanted equal merit-based opportunities. They protested peacefully at first, but tension simmered quickly. From July 10 onwards, Dhaka saw its sit-ins at major streets intersections. Demonstrators set up makeshift camps. They vowed not to move until the government scrapped the quota system. July 14, the Prime Minister responds, not with action, but irritation. Sheikh Hasina criticizes the students, particularly those targeting quotas for war veterans' descendants. That did not sit well with the youth. Then came the spark. On July 15, leaders of the ruling party student wing, the Bangladesh Chhatra League, vowed a fitting reply to the protesters. That day, violent attacks broke out, reportedly led by Chhatra League activists at Central Dhaka University and even at a medical college where injured students were being treated. Over 300 were injured in that one day. By July 16, the clashes had spread nationwide. Protesters turned into defenders. The streets, campuses, trains, stations all became battlegrounds. On July 17, a heavily watched speech followed. Hasina took to national television. She expressed sorrow. She promised an inquiry, but she also asked students to be patient and wait for a Supreme Court ruling. For many, the trust had already been broken. What followed was a breakdown of order over the next 3 days. Tens of thousands joined the protests. Police opened fire, live ammunition included. Vehicles and buildings were torched. A mob stormed a prison in Narsingdi, freeing about 900 inmates and stealing weapons. Deadly clashes continued for weeks. Curfews were imposed. The army was deployed. Eventually, the Supreme Court scrapped most of the quotas, but by then, the movement wasn't just about jobs. It was about accountability. And it was about Prime Minister Hasina. By August, the protesters had a singular demand: Hasina must go. On August 3rd, student leaders openly called for her resignation and the formation of a neutral national government. The country was burning and pressure was mounting, domestically and internationally. Then came August 5th, 2024, the turning point. Defying curfew orders, tens of thousands of people marched towards Dhaka center. Security forces wavered, crowds stormed the Prime Minister's official residence. By afternoon, under immense pressure, Sheikh Hasina tendered her resignation to President Shahabuddin and fled to India with her sister, Sheikh Rehena.
দেশে একটা ক্রান্তিকাল চলছে। আমি সমস্ত রাজনৈতিক দলের নেতৃবৃন্দকে এখানে আমন্ত্রণ করেছিলাম, ওনারা এখানে এসেছেন। আমরা একটা সুন্দর আলোচনা করেছি। সেখানে আমরা সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছি যে একটা ইন্টারিম গভর্নমেন্ট আমরা ফর্ম করব এবং ইন্টারিম গভর্নমেন্টের মাধ্যমে এদেশের সমস্ত কার্যকলাপ চলবে। আমরা এখন মহামান্য রাষ্ট্রপতির কাছে যাব যে এই ইন্টারিম গভর্নমেন্ট ফর্মের ব্যাপারে ওনার সাথে আলাপ আলোচনা করে আমরা একটা ইন্টারিম গভর্নমেন্ট ফর্ম করে দেশ পরিচালনা করব।
After her resignation, Army Chief General Wakar-uz-Zaman announced the formation of an interim government and promised justice. He spoke of unity. He also spoke of over 300 people who died during the protest. But since then, Bangladesh has been deeply divided between those who see justice being served and those who see political persecution. And now, the tribunal has delivered its verdict. The reaction, immediate and intense. Sheikh Hasina's party, the Awami League, has called for a 2-day nationwide shutdown. Protests have erupted. There are reports of arrests, explosions near rival party offices, and growing unrest. From a private location, Hasina has called the verdict biased, politically motivated, and a sham. She insists on her innocence, and as per latest updates, 2 were killed as massive clashes broke out in several parts of Bangladesh, including capital Dhaka, after the ICT's death penalty ruling for the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina for crimes against humanity during the students' uprising in 2024.
দর্শক, আবারও কিন্তু উত্তল হয়ে উঠেছে।
Today, Bangladesh is at a crossroad balancing justice, politics, and the weight of its own history. For many, this verdict brings closure. For others, it brings fear of a new political era defined by revenge. As events continue to unfold, we'll be following them for you closely and carefully. Stay with us for continued coverage.